one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
From WKYC, it's a follow-up. The city of Akron has released police body camera footage connected to the deadly Thanksgiving night shooting when an officer opened fire and killed 15-year-old Jazmir Tucker during an incident near East Avenue and Vernon Odom Boulevard. I remember I did the story. This is that 15-year-old in Akron. Release of the body camera video comes as the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation continues looking into that situation. A law passed in 2021 requires the city of Akron to release footage in use of force incidents involving the police department within 7 days of when it happened. The footage released Thursday afternoon shows one dash camera angle as well as 3 different officer body cameras, including the officer who shot Jazmir Tucker. However, while the muzzle flash of the officer's weapon can be seen, the moments leading up to and during the shooting cannot be heard due to what police describe as buffering that muted the audio. Officers can also be heard yelling at Tucker to put your hands out to your sides for several minutes following the shooting. Later Thursday, Jazmir's mother, great aunt, and the family's lawyer spoke briefly regarding the release of the video. Attorney Stanley Jackson said they had only just gotten a chance to see the footage just minutes before speaking with the media and would be holding another briefing, which was held last Friday at 11 a.m. Akron police say it was around 11:01 p.m. on November 28th when a pair of patrol officers were parked inside their cruiser working on a report from an unrelated call when they heard gunshots nearby. And then I did the editorial shortly after getting out of the patrol car. Officers encountered a male with a loaded firearm, and one of the officers, a nearly 5-year veteran of the police department, discharged his weapon, striking the suspect. That's according to the initial details released by the Akron Police Department. Now, the second officer did not discharge his duty weapon. Remember, he was like a new cop, a veteran or what have you. The person who was shot, later identified as Jazmir Tucker, was taken to a nearby hospital where he died from his injuries. Now, both officers have been placed on administrative leave, which is departmental policy. Once the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation completes their investigation, the case will be submitted to the Ohio Attorney General's office for review. The mayor released this following statement last Thursday, following the release of the camera footage. To lose someone in an officer-involved shooting is truly heartbreaking, especially someone so young. Jazmir Tucker was beloved by many people, and my heart is with his family, friends, and classmates as they deal with this terrible loss. An officer's decision to use deadly force is the most consequential decision they can make, and the circumstances surrounding the use of deadly force demand a heightened scrutiny. Often, in these incidents, viewing the officer-worn body camera footage and other available video helps to clarify circumstances and answer some questions. It can also raise additional questions. Today, we're releasing several videos from this incident. After viewing them, I am left with many serious questions. The 2 officers who initially responded did not activate their body cameras upon exiting their vehicle. At some point, the cameras were automatically activated due to the presence of a nearby cruiser with activated lights. And once activated, the cameras can automatically store 30 seconds of video without audio. So we have some video without audio of the shooting itself. So my initial questions were, why were the cameras not activated by the officers, and whether this violated the body-worn camera policy. This will be reviewed in our internal investigation. He goes on, I also believe that many will ask why the officers used rifles instead of handguns in responding to this incident. This will be something that we discuss more going forward, including the internal investigation and as part of our comprehensive review of use of force, including when and how different weapons are used. In hindsight, the amount of time that expired between the shooting and the initiation of physical aid to Jazmir is deeply troubling to me. I want to be clear that any unreasonable delay in the rendering of aid by police officers is unacceptable and has no place in Akron. This issue will also be part of our internal investigation, but in the meantime, Chief Harding has instructed Akron Police Department leadership to conduct roll call trainings immediately with all of our patrol officers regarding on-scene security and rendering aid. Due to the angle of the body cameras and the bright light shining on Jazmir after he was initially shot, it's hard to make out from the videos what exactly happened leading up to the shooting and immediately following it. A gun was recovered from Jazmir's zipped up jacket pocket. Given that, why did the officer decide to use his weapon? That question will be addressed by the State Bureau of Criminal Investigation, which began its investigation last Thursday night. Once BCI has completed its investigation, the results are presented to the Ohio Attorney General's office for review and presentation to a grand jury of citizens in Summit County. That's for the indictment. He goes on, the grand jury will determine whether criminal charges should be filed. When that process is complete, the full BCI investigation file will be available to the public. Additionally, after the grand jury process, the city will conduct an internal investigation into the use of force and determine whether a violation occurred. As our community watches these videos, no, there will be many more questions. I wish we had more answers to provide in this moment. There are many questions we will not be able to answer until the BCI investigation is completed. We do know that 2 shell casings were recovered at the northeast portion of Miller South, and that those are being tested against the gun that was recovered out of his zip jacket pocket. He goes on, I think anytime we have young people carrying weapons, we have to ask ourselves why, and we have to work to change that. And I believe there's a statement also by the attorneys, if I recall, but you can read everything in the description box below. I'm going to end it. I don't want to belabor this and have you sit here for, 20 minutes listening to me. But I did want to bring out one thing that the mayor said. They did discover a gun on Jazmir Tucker. Where was it? In a zipped up pocket of his jacket. Remember what I said when I did the initial editorial on this story? I said, well, was he aiming it at him? Was he holding it in the air? What? It was in a zipped up pocket of his jacket. So why was he shot? Oh, they heard shots fired. He shot. There's 2 rounds they found around the corner. 2 casings. Even if those match his gun, it was in a zipped up pocket of his jacket. As far as we know, he didn't even aim a gun at him. 50-year-old shot. Well, they feared for their lives. And I didn't show any of the body camera footage. It's in a link in the description box as well. If you want to click that link, you can go and review it. It's kind of lengthy, but not too long. But I didn't show you any of the body camera footage because you really don't see anything. I watched it and I'm like, it's not giving us any answers. No, of course it's not. And I end with this. Two questions, other questions that just came up. Why didn't they activate their body cameras? And why did they delay in rendering aid? Inquiring minds want to know.